The Game Awards are back and just as stupid as ever. I genuinely still don't understand why anybody takes these awards seriously in any way, shape or form. And in today's video we're gonna talk about exactly why the Game Awards are so dumb. Now first I want to start off by showing you the Game of the Year nominees, and as you can probably tell, there is no Starfield. We'll get to that part later, but I do think it's kinda wild that they put Resident Evil 4 Remake here instead of a game that actually, came out this year that was like a new IP, or just a new game that's not like a remake. Like, I understand that there's a lot of differences between Resident Evil 4 and the Resident Evil 4 Remake, right? There is differences, but essentially it's still just two versions of the same game that came out in 2005. Does it deserve to be nominated for a award? Sure, because it's a good game. For the Game of the Year award of 2023, no. And that's also why it's not gonna win. It's not gonna win because the people who make the decision of who wins, which by the way, isn't the people who vote. The vote only counts for 10% of the decision. 90% of the decision is made by Jeff Keighley, essentially. Or more accurately, Jeff Keighley and his friends. So it's not gonna win because they know that if a remake of an old game becomes the Game of the Year of 2023, people will be upset. It's also the same reason why Mario Wonder won't win every year. The Game of the Year nominations have like a smaller, more AA or indie game there that is always really good but never wins because it's simply not like a big AAA experience, which is what they wanted the Game of the Year to be. Same with Zelda. Zelda's not gonna win because Breath of the Wild already won, and I highly doubt the sequel to Breath of the Wild is gonna win now. And Alan Wake is also not gonna win because it's just too niche of a game to win the Game Awards. It's not popular enough to win. It's really just between Baldur's Gate 3 and Spider-Man 2, and I'm inclined to say that Spider-Man 2 will win because it's probably a bit more popular than Baldur's Gate 3. Okay, now that I've rambled a bit about who I predict is going to win, now let's talk about something that kind of really bothers me, because even though I don't care about the Game Awards at all, I think it's a very stupid award show. This actually kind of pissed me off, and that's the fact that Hogwarts Legacy, right? A game that came out early 2023 and was the fastest and highest selling new game that's not part of an existing video game franchise. Obviously it's part of the Harry Potter franchise, of the year, right? It's the quickest and highest selling game of the year. And it didn't get nominated for a single award. It's not even mentioned once in the entire award show so far. Obviously the award show hasn't started, but it's not nominated for any category. And this is, and I believe 100% that this is only because Jeff Keighley and the influencers and journalists who decide which games will be nominated don't like J.K. Rowling. Now, I'm not personally gonna give my opinion on J.K. Rowling and what she said because it doesn't fucking matter. The game has nothing to do with J.K. Rowling. The story wasn't written by her, the characters weren't created by her, the entire game wasn't made by her. She had nothing to do with the game except for the fact that she created the Harry Potter universe back in 1996 or whenever the fuck the first book came out. And to be so disrespectful to all the people who made this game, right? To the people who put their blood, sweat and tears into the creation of this game. To basically snub them and tell them, you're not good enough to be nominated for our shitty award show because we don't like the politics of a woman that wasn't involved in the creation of this game at all. It's the most disrespectful bullshit ever. On top of that, Hogwarts Legacy was the fastest highest selling new game of this year that's massively fucking popular. And how can you just shove it aside like that? For politics, that's so disingenuous. It basically discredits your entire award show because you're not willing to acknowledge a game that was so successful and so popular because of your personal dislike for someone who wasn't even involved in the creation of the game. This is one of the many mistakes that this award show has made. There's also someone nominated for best esports coach who wasn't even a fucking esports coach in 2023. He himself even tweeted out that he wanted to be taken off the list of contenders for the award because he didn't coach in 2023, and it wouldn't be fair if he won the award of best coach of 2023 when he didn't fucking work this year. Now for the part of the video that you've all probably been waiting for. Starfield did not get nominated for Game of the Year, to the great delight of PlayStation fanboys, and to the great annoyance of Xbox fans, and especially Xbox fanboys who've been talking about something called the Xbox tax, which we're gonna get to that in a little bit. First, I want to talk about the PlayStation fanboys who for the past couple of days have been absolutely just making fun of the fact that Starfield did not get nominated by putting up like pictures like this where it shows that Xbox has never been nominated for Game of the Year in the past like 11 years, which is bullshit, by the way. That's never happened, and I'm gonna get to that later as well. First, I just want to address a couple of things. Like, here's Mighty Keith, who definitely is not a PlayStation fanboy, guys. He is not a PlayStation fanboy. He just way prefers PlayStation.
Bro, not a single Xbox game got nominated for Game of the Year, and people had the audacity to question my concern for the state of that console. 120 media outlets agreed to this lineup, and not a single Xbox game. That's very concerning.
I just want to point out how funny it is that these PlayStation fanboys will switch every single day between Xbox is a dangerous monopoly, and they're gonna take over everything, and Xbox is dying, and I'm concerned for it. And it's funny. Like, it's either a dying console with no games or a monopoly, dude. It can't be both. Something can't be a monopoly yet struggling to, you know, get by in this industry.
Media bias against Xbox, the person who screams it.
Yeah, this is a very funny joke where J-Dub is implying that the Xbox fans who talk about the Xbox tax, which I'm gonna talk about more later, but essentially what it is media bias against Xbox, that those people are somehow like effeminate. This definitely is not homophobic at all, guys. I do have to admit, like, these fanboy communities do have a problem with some homophobic things they say. I've called out Amazing Lucas for that multiple times, but it doesn't really matter. Someone in his comments of J-Dub said, "Why do you have this picture? Did you search this? LMAO. No matter the answer, not a good look." I don't know, I just think that's very funny that like he's trying to make fun of people by calling them effeminate, and then he gets immediately called out like, "Why do you have gay pictures on your computer?" J-Dub then tries to, instead of responding, just like says ratio and utterly fucking fails the ratio, which is even more funny. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly mention this before I am now going to start talking about the Xbox tax. Now, the Xbox tax is essentially the idea that there is a huge media bias against Xbox in favor of PlayStation. That's why PlayStation always gets higher review scores for their game, while Xbox get lower review scores, and why, for in this case with the Game Awards, Xbox doesn't get nominated for the Game of the Year award. Like, Starfield doesn't get nominated. Now, there are people, by the way, that say things like, oh, maybe Starfield didn't get nominated because when it was released, it was kind of buggy and the game's mediocre anyway, and it doesn't innovate that much. It doesn't really change that many things that we haven't seen other games do before. I want to remind you that Spider-Man 2 is nominated for Game of the Year, and that game also launched being buggy and broken. The game definitely is very mediocre and does not innovate at all. It's basically the exact same game, or at least game mechanics, as in Spider-Man 1 and Miles Morales. And while I don't really believe like that there's such a huge bias against Starfield or against Xbox in the entirety of the gaming industry, I do believe that there might be a bias when it comes to the Game Awards, mainly because Jeff Keighley has already shown that he's willing to ban entire games from his Game Awards show because he doesn't like them, or he doesn't like a person that's vaguely related to the game, like with J.K. Rowling and Hogwarts Legacy, just banned that entire game. So it very much could be that he decided to not put Starfield as a nominee for the Game of the Year award, because he does not like the fact that Microsoft has been buying up developers like Activision Blizzard and Bethesda, and that because of that and his personal like opinions and bias, he's decided not to put Starfield in the Game of the Year nominees. And I think this is quite likely. So even though I don't believe that there's like a giant media bias against Xbox, I do believe that the Game Awards and Jeff Keighley might have a bias towards Xbox because of the way that they've recently been, you know, doing business and been kind of hostile towards PlayStation. And that Jeff Keighley, because of that, has decided that he's rather nominate a remake like Resident Evil 4 for Game of the Year than a new IP which is massively popular like Starfield. Now very quickly before I end this video, I do want to quickly come back to something I earlier said, which was that it's bullshit that Microsoft or Xbox has never been nominated for a Game of the Year award before in the past 11 years. Because even when Halo Infinite came out, that game was not nominated for Game of the Year award, but it then won, I guess, the player vote for best game or favorite game. I don't remember what it's called, but essentially that's a vote by the players that they decide 100%, not like the players decide 10% and Jeff Keighley decides 90%. It's the players decide 100%, and they decided their favorite game of the year was Halo Infinite. And if that vote is held again this year, I think it probably will. I think it's held every year. I don't know. I don't really pay attention, but because I don't care about the show. But I think it'll probably be won by Starfield or Hogwarts Legacy. And I think Starfield will win because I genuinely believe that even if people vote Hogwarts Legacy, they either won't have the option to vote Hogwarts Legacy, or if they do, Jeff Keighley and the Game Awards and like the people that run it will have like banned the game from even being considered to win that award, despite the fact it's massively popular. If it would be allowed to fairly compete, I would genuinely I believe that that Hogwarts Legacy would win the vote. But because I believe they probably will just ban the game anyway and not announce the game if it actually did win, Starfield will probably win the vote. Anyway, my ramble is over. I'm tired. I'm done. Yeah, whatever. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye. I'm so good at outros.